Everyone, make sure that you're being safe. In this video, we use
fire and eluded the use of a chainsaw.
So make sure you get help from an adult.
Alright, so I'm Jimothy. This is my friend and helper Juicebox, and together we make up the Tank Bros. Hey guys, this is what we call the upside down fire. Now essentially what it is, it's a fire that once you get it going, you don't have to add any wood to it. So it's super low maintenance, and it's really good for situations where either you're doing fire watch and you don't want to have to continually add wood to it, or if you're trying to heat up a shelter at night. And so what it is it's just a bunch of logs that are cut the same length, that are packed really tightly together and stacked upon each other in alternating directions. And then basically at the top here, all we have is basically you have a teepee fire. Yeah. So we're going to show you how to make the upside down fire. So what you do is you start off with the largest logs that you have, and you arrange them tight together so they make a nice square like so. And then you get some smaller diameter ones that you put in the opposite direction, like my friend Juicebox is so nicely doing. And you keep doing that with slightly smaller and smaller sticks until you get a nice kind of pyramid shape almost, or a nice just tall tower. Alright, so now that we've got the smallest of the twigs and the logs that we want on here, we're going to add our kindling. Here you go, sir. Thank you. Alright, so we're using quite a bit of red pine and some birch bark, because we want it to burn fairly hot and to produce a lot of heat so they can start to burn the logs below it. And here we have a pre-made teepee bought at the store. And there. And then once we get this thing going, it can burn for probably 2 or 3 hours without having to add any wood. Just what we want. Alright, so now that we've put all this hard work and blood, sweat, and tears into making this, we're going to set it on fire and watch it just slowly destroy itself. JJ was going to bring his mixtape, but he forgot, so we're going to have to settle with a lighter. And yeah, that's the upside down fire. So this fire has been burning for about an hour and a half now, and it's still just radiating heat. We're just under the 2-hour mark, and without adding any wood to the fire, it's kind of just turned into a bunch of hot coals right now. And so if you want to make them last longer, just add more levels. You don't need to go wider. You just need to add more levels so that it can burn down a lot. It takes a lot longer for it to burn down. But at this point, there's so much hot coals that if you just want to throw more wood on the fire to get it going, you can.
You know your fire is out when the wood stops sizzling.
Oh, hi guys. We're going to be covering how to do the Swedish log fire. But just don't tell any of your Swedish friends or any Swedish people or the Swedish government, because we don't want to run into any legal issues. So let's just get into it. So what you're going to need is you're going to need a big log, and what you're going to do is using a chainsaw, or if you want muscles like these, you can use a handsaw, but it would probably be a lot of work. But what you do is you cut the log, so you kind of get like a pizza cut pattern, like you do with a pizza. And you want to cut it about 3/4 of the way down, or just about to the very bottom. And once you've done that, you can pack the center here full of kindling and stuff that will burn. And then when you light it, it'll burn down and catch the log on fire, and it'll burn from the inside out. And what this does is it provides a perfect cooking fire, because it creates a very localized source of heat, as well as it provides a very flat cooking surface. And it's also really good for in wet areas, because when you do cut the log, the center of the log where this wood is that you'll be burning is always going to be dry, as well as it's like in an elevated position. So if the ground's wet, it won't really have an impact on it at all. So yeah, it's really, really good fire to know. To start your Swedish log fire, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to stuff the center of it full of kindling, which you can find all out in the bush, or in your pocket, depending on how lucky you are. And you just stuff it in there, and you still want it to be able to burn, so you don't want to pack it in there too tight, but you want enough of it so that it can burn enough to catch the wood around it on fire. And once you've gotten a good amount in there, I'm using birch bark, but you could use other things if you wanted to. Wait for it to burn down and into the log, and the rest of the log should catch, and it should just burn nice and evenly. I've lit it and it's burning pretty well. You might just want to keep some extra tinder on hand to just keep adding in if it does go out, or if you just need to make the fire a little bit bigger. But it's starting to burn down pretty well, and it honestly didn't really take a lot of tinder to do that. So while you're trying to get your fire going and actually get it just burning the log around it, you can add small twigs to it just to help fuel the fire. But after a little bit, you shouldn't need to add anything to it to keep it burning. So it's only been 11 minutes since we put the water on, but it's already at a rolling boil, and yeah, it didn't take very long at all compared to our normal fire, and it's just going like crazy.
Okay, so since on out trips you're not going to be having a chainsaw with you, what you could do is just saw a bunch of logs and stick them in the ground in like a log formation, and then you can get something like a Swedish log fire. It's just a variation. You could do a lot of different things with it. Oh gosh.
Is it very hot? Works really well though. Hey guys, do you like digging holes,
Yeah,
starting fires,
for sure.
and cooking food really effectively?
Oh heck yeah.
Then the Dakota fire pit is a fire for you. So essentially all it is it's two holes that you dig close to each other with a tunnel connecting them at the base. And what it does is it allows you to start a fire in one of them and allow the other hole to send in oxygen at the base of where you're having your fire to allow a good amount of oxygen to supply it, allowing it to burn really hot and even smokeless once you get it going really good. So we'll start it up and show you how it works.
Timothy, you're so good at this.
This is what I do. If you know me, then it ain't anything new.
It's smokeless. It's not smokeless right now.
It will be later once you get a good amount of fire going.
Well, I hope I don't smother this fire.
Well, that's the thing. With the Dakota fire pit, you don't have to worry about smothering it because it doesn't get its air from up top. It gets it from through that tunnel that you made between the two holes. Meaning that you can't really smother it unless you really jam it in there.
Whoa! Came out the tunnel.
And yeah, once you get a good fire going, it produces so much heat that you can cook food way quicker than you could with a normal fire.
Wow, that's an awesome fire.
Mm-hmm. Did anybody bring any food to cook? Does your job.
Well, we got a fire at least.
Well, that's good. So as you can see, even though we have such a small fire pit, we have a really, really big, really hot fire going. So it's a really good fire for cooking stuff on. Not so much for heat, because it only puts the heat upwards, so it won't really warm you up a lot, just sitting away from it, but really good for cooking. But always make sure that when you're digging holes in the ground to put fire in, you always have to put it out. Put it out really good, because you don't want to start a root fire going, because that would be really bad news bears. So always make sure to put enough water on to know for sure that it's absolutely out. Just like that.